Hey everybody, this is Tom. I've got some really exciting news for you today. I launched the Small Scale Life Patreon page. Yes, we're on Patreon now. So if you like Small Scale Life and want to get more Small Scale Life, check out our page and subscribe. It's at patreon.com/smallscalelife. Welcome to the Small Scale Life Podcast and Small Scale Life YouTube channel. I'm Tom, your humble green man host. Yes, I am. I'm so happy you're here. How are ya? How are you doing? Please make yourself comfortable, breathe deeply, and enjoy a beverage as you settle in for another fun show. Yes, I am live on a video. Isn't it crazy? It's kind of different for this, for doing these podcasts and YouTube videos. Well, in this 184th episode of the Small Scale Life Podcast, we're talking about grounding and wellness with Hannah from the Wisconsin Homestead Podcast. Jules and I had so much fun talking with Hannah that I decided to break this conversation into two distinct pieces. If you want to hear the first episode, check out Small Scale Life Podcast titled Urban Homesteading with Hannah from the Wisconsin Homestead Podcast. So who is Hannah? Who is this mysterious Hannah person? Well, Hannah and her husband AJ are fellow travelers in the homesteading space. Like us, Hannah and AJ are living close to their parents. Well, at least they are. We've moved away a little bit and are about to make a big jump to Wisconsin, but they are living close to their parents in an urban area in an effort to live healthier lives and break patterns of the American consumption lifestyle. They started gardening and growing fruit trees and branching out into spirituality, grounding, and making things with their hands. So yeah, this is what we're going to be talking about this time, but we'll get into that in a couple seconds here. But first, we're going to start with the Hall of Heroes. And as I say, it's hard to have a bad day when you start your day with gratitude. And as part of intentionally practicing gratitude on Small Scale Life, we're going to start this podcast with thanking some people who have been on the show, have been active in the Small Scale Life groups, and just been helping us out, and just we're thankful for. So we got to thank, of course, Hannah and AJ and little Jack from the Wisconsin Homestead Podcast. It's so great to make these connections with people. I mean, this is why I'm so thankful about podcasting in general. You've met so many interesting people across this planet. I mean, there's people that live in Australia that I communicate with that listen to the show way over in Australia. They're upside down there. Don't you know that? It's amazing how they stay on the planet. But it's so cool that there's people all over this planet, all over the Midwest, all over the world that are listening to this podcast and reaching out. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to collaborating with the Wisconsin Homestead Podcast in the future. We're going to pull some shenanigans. There's a very funny there was some funny banter back and forth about AJ wearing a headband that Hannah knit. It's very cool, very nice project, but it was way too funny. It looked like Ben Stiller from Dodgeball. And go to the Instagram, Small Scale Life Instagram, you'll see it, or on Small Scale Life on MeWe. Yes, we'll talk about that in just a minute, but looking forward to meeting AJ and Hannah in 2021. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, I've got to thank our energy peeps, and I'll throw AJ and Hannah in there. We got Mariah, we've got Trish, we've got Amy Dingman from A Farmer's Kind of Life. All these folks that are they've got really good energy. They're doing really cool things, and just kind of our peeps. Bert and Trish, of course, are good friends from the Triple H, and we just love them. And it's so cool to talk about these things and be together, and it's very cool. So I'm really thankful for those folks in our life. Of course, Trish and Bert down there in Bay City, Wisconsin, they are good friends, and we're just so happy and thankful for them. They've been really a blessing in our lives, and can't wait to have them on the show to talk about their little project down there. Got to thank all the people on MeWe. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we this week, actually a couple days ago, we have branched out into MeWe, and I've been on MeWe. I was on it, then I got off of it because nobody was over there. But since stuff and things happened in late 2020, early 2021, a lot of people are over on MeWe now. So we have a Small Scale Life group on MeWe. We have a Small Scale Gardening group on MeWe. And we'll talk about that whole Small Scale Life, Small Scale Gardening thing here in the near future. But if you're over on MeWe, if you are part of the MeWe crew, get into the Small Scale Life group. We've got about 30 some members over there right now, just starting to get active. I mean, it's a brand new group, and people are like, okay, what is this? And we'll get, I mean, some of them were over on Small Scale Life on Facebook too, but we're really trying to grow this group over here on Small Scale, on MeWe as well, the Small Scale Life MeWe group. So you need to, if you're curious about that, reach out to me. We'll get you in there. And you build the tribe over there too. So we're really excited that we're doing that. Got to thank Amy Dingman again. She's been great. Letty Lou over there. She's been wonderful. We've been, I gotta say, we've been mentioned in a couple podcasts. There's the 80s Moms podcast. They mentioned us. Thank you so much. That's Letty and another person over there. Thank you so much. Amy Dingman told me that. Amy Dingman gave us a shout out. And of course, the Wisconsin Homestead Podcast, they gave us a shout out. So thank you to everybody. Amy does a great podcast over there. And, go listen to A Farmish Kind of Life. It's really good. She just talked about resilience and mentioned us. So listen to that one. I'm going to listen to that. Probably have a comment, probably have an article later on this week about resilience and homesteading, that whole thing. So I'm pretty excited about that. I have to thank Jules, of course. She has been just kicking booty. She's been doing a great job with designing things for the Eagles Ridge house. So we'll have to talk about that in the near future because it's a very cool idea. We've been pretty busy on that regard, getting things together for this major project this year. It's going to be busy. And of course, got to thank Danny Sav for coming over yesterday. It was so good to talk to Danny. We're going to have him on the show to talk about his racing and all that kind of running. I mean, who runs 100 miles, right? You just want to find out more about that kind of stuff. So lots of people on our on our thank you list today, and it's really a good thing. So, I'm always very thankful that you're here listening to our show, and all the people who are listening. Thank you so much who are watching the YouTubes, and we're on Library too, Odyssey. So thank you all. We continue to grow just by inches, and that is totally cool. We're totally fine with that. 2021 is going to be one great year, and we're so happy that you're part of this journey. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah. And as I say, what are you grateful for? You should tell that person or organization. Give it a try. It'll really change your life. It changes the way you think about things. And just a quick story, because there's always a squirrel moment when I'm on the mic. But I was on hold for 2 hours with a cable company, about a bill, and I was ready to just rain hellfire. But if you know me, I'm a pretty nice guy, and I know a lot of you are like, well, did you just give it to him? And I was like, well, no, she kind of helped me out. And it was like, I'm thankful that she helped me out. And it was actually a good experience. So now if it doesn't get cleared up this time, because this is the second time I've dealt with it, then we're going to raise holy hell. But anyway, so I'm very thankful. I told her that I was thankful for that she helped me. But yeah, there we go. So tell that person, maybe even after 2 hours, you can do the right thing and tell them you're thankful for helping you out. So it's a good thing. All right. So enough about that. Let's keep her moving here. Do you have a side hustle or business? Remember, we are doing our Escape Velocity podcast here. So we're talking about small business. So if you have a great project or a side hustle or small business that you're working on, maybe you want to get the news out there. Well, hey, be on the Small Scale Life podcast. We've got a lot of people that are listening, a lot of people that are watching YouTube. We got a lot of subscribers there. So we are happy to promote your project. I have started things and totally bombed. It's happened. So I learn something new every time I have somebody on. If you would like to be on our podcast, send me a message to the Contact Us page on smallscalelife.com. This is your chance to teach us how to learn, do, and grow. So we have a chance to learn, do, and grow from you. And hopefully we'll be a little better as we start our own side hustles and projects. So, okay, so let's talk about Hannah for a minute and jump into the podcast in the video because it's a lot of fun. Julie and I had such a good time with Hannah. She is just a pleasure to talk to. And of course, Hannah's from the Wisconsin Homestead Podcast. They talk about a whole variety of topics. It's not just homesteading. It's not just gardening. They talk about energy and spirituality and gratitude and consumerism and all the same kind of stuff we do, and even more. So it's kind of cool to talk to them, and she's really fun to talk to. So about halfway through the episode, halfway through the interview, we pivoted and we started talking about clean eating, the Keto and Whole30. They're doing keto. We're kind of doing Whole30. We're kind of the dirty Whole30. Yeah, that's a whole thing. We're talking about grounding, spirituality, the energies, and the drum wash. We explained our drum wash that we went to with Mariah and Trish and Bert. And that was super cool and a great experience, really cool experience. And then, of course, I think we finished with the Wisconsin Homestead Podcast. We talk about what their future plans are. In fact, I know we did that. So for those who may not know what grounding is a practice where you walk barefoot, you sit, you lay down, you work outside, and you are essentially connected to the Earth's surface. By grounding, the idea is that you are connecting your body to the Earth's energy. And at the same time, you're transferring the Earth's energy from the ground into your body. And likewise, you're becoming kind of we all vibrate. We all have energy. And we are syncing our energies. That's really the idea behind grounding. It's kind of a cool concept. So it really helps you feel connected to the earth and more at peace. It really seriously does. I mean, that's why gardening is one of those grounding activities which connects your inner core, your lower inner core, your first chakra, if you will, to the earth, to the ground, to the soil. It's a really big deal. And if you listen to Jack Spirko from the Survival Podcast, he talked about it. I know it from my experience. You come home, you're stressed out, you had a horrible day at work, and he would go right out and water his plants in the garden. I did the same thing. I would go out to the garden. I would just go out to the garden for a while. And the smell of the fresh tomatoes and the different herbs and seeing the bees do their thing, you get connected and you get synced up. And it's like some of that stress, a lot of that stress, most of that stress melts away. Give it a try. Mariah, the energy healer, she said that I should just get like a bucket of dirt, get a bucket of dirt and leave it in here and like put my hands in it. And that would really do the same kind of thing. We have a couple small plants going on in here, but she said get a bucket of dirt. It's not a bad idea. Might have to do that. Plus, then I can use that bucket of dirt to actually grow some things. And we'll get into that soon. So that's grounding. It helps you feel connected to the earth, makes you feel more at peace. And give it a try. What do you got to lose? I mean, if nothing else, people look at you and think you're kind of funny. Now, up here in Minnesota and Wisconsin, Michigan, the upper Midwest, and the upper East, Canada, and all those other places, we got this little stuff called snow. So, yeah, there's a YouTube video that I've got, and I'll have a link in the show notes that shows me grounding on New Year's Eve. And I actually did it at midnight on New Year's Eve. I got grounded. In the snow. And that's kind of one of those shenanigans I talk about with the Wisconsin Homestead crew with Hannah and AJ, where we were kind of doing the dueling groundings. And it was kind of funny. So, and that explains the cover video now, or the cover picture for this podcast is the grounding ceremony. So if you will, give it a try and you'll see what I mean. And, You'll hear us talk about it quite a bit, and you'll see it in the video. Again, we're talking about this kind of thing because we're bringing wellness back into small scale life, and that's kind of some ongoing changes of bringing the wellness back in. We feel so much at peace out on Eagles Ridge and that river, and there's just a good energy there. We feel so much peace at that. So we want to talk more about that. There's some people that we want to bring into the podcast and have as guests, and we're going to be talking about wellness. That it's really about healing, right? Healing the land at Eagles Ridge. We're healing ourselves at Eagles Ridge, our mind, our bodies, our spirit. We are healing. And I think that's really important. And it sounds a little woo-woo, and maybe it is, but that's what we're doing, and that's what we're talking about. It's all part of the homesteading experience for us. That's what it's important to us, so we're going to be talking about it, and hopefully we'll inspire you to maybe get out and stand in the snow. That's pretty exciting stuff, isn't it? So we're going to talk more about that in future episodes of the Small Scale Life Podcast. Don't worry about that. But thank you so much for being here. And again, remember to learn, do, grow, be a little better every day. We are going to go right into this episode where we're going to talk about grounding and wellness with Hannah from the Wisconsin Homestead Podcast. Thank you again, Hannah, for being on the show. We'd love to have you and AJ anytime. So thank you for watching. Here we go. Now for Hannah from the Wisconsin Homestead Podcast.
was there like one like defining moment that made you say, hey, this is enough of this, whether it comes to the Instagram feed or the wanting to eat clean and, just live a different lifestyle?
That's a really good question. I think that a lot of it's driven, honestly, by AJ. He just does so much research with listening to podcasts and audiobooks, and he gets so excited. He's really passionate. Like our bookshelves are just full of books that he's ordered, and we have not really read a lot of them. But he wants to.
Hush over there, you.
We'll do it one day. It's good to have them in the reference library.
Right. When the collapse comes, we have a full library. We can eat.
Exactly.
You can burn them.
Or start a really good fire.
Exactly. They're going to be useful for something.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he gets passionate about things. And then, of course, I trust his research, so I kind of get into it too. But I don't know. I really think having Jack, I think having our son helped spur a lot of this with the all natural, because I'm like, I don't want to be putting chemicals on his body. I don't want him eating processed crap. Granted, he had stuff over the holidays. It's not like we're perfect. And that's what I always want to like convey when we're doing our podcast too. It's like, yeah, I'm talking about things that I believe in, but I'm human and I do eat Taco Bell sometimes. Like, I don't want to admit that I do, but I do. But yeah, I think just
burrito, that's my fave.
Oh, so good. Oh, we can't talk about it now. I'm day 2 on the keto train again, and I need to be focused.
Good girl. Yep, we're doing the Whole30 train right now.
Day 2 on
yes,
30. So yeah,
I know. I wanted to talk about that with you guys next too, but I just think having Jack really made me realize that like it's important to think about what we're putting in our bodies, because I don't want to put anything harmful in his. So he's just been a huge motivator, and too with like homesteading and having more land. We're like, we both grew up in the city and loved it. Like, I can't complain about anything from my childhood, but it's like we don't have to have the same childhood for him. Like, we could have him grow up somewhere with animals and he could learn how to do that, and that would be really cool. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that always has stuck with me is when we moved to Illinois, right before Julie and I went down to look at properties, and we found the house, and we came back, and the boys had stayed with their grandparents, and they were like, "Oh, did you find a place with a hill?" "Oh, no, Illinois is pretty flat." "Did you find a place with woods?" "Oh, no, we're in a subdivision." And it's like, now we got it though. So, it just took a while. It took
exactly future memories and grandchildren. And
that's right. Our grandchildren will sled on our hill.
Oh God, absolutely. No, they'd be right in the river.
In the river.
Hills like this. It's 45-degree angle with trees. That wouldn't be good. We'll go we'll go to a safe place.
They'll probably want to though, daredevils.
Oh, yeah. I know. Totally.
They will. I want to.
Oh man, not down that hill. No way. Keto and Whole30. You wanted to go there, so let's go. Oh yeah.
Yes. Well, AJ and I tried Whole30 a couple years ago.
Okay.
And remind me, because at the time, I don't even remember why we wanted to do it, but I wasn't really in the right mindset of like, clean out my body and feel better and see how we react to things. I'm just like, I need to go on a diet. So we just all did it. I don't know, probably for the wrong reasons, but remind me, it's like you can have sweet potatoes and things like that, right? If it's a whole food, you can have it.
If it's a whole food, you can have it. Yep, absolutely. So potatoes, fruit, really, it's just you're cutting out the grains and the dairy and what else, babe? Alcohol.
Processed food, alcohol.
Yeah, that's
sugars,
right.
It's like keto light. Not good for, Wisconsinites that love beer, cheese, and brats all together.
I know.
And fun. Delicious.
So how long did you guys because I've seen that you've had some other podcasts about it. Did you recently restart doing it after the holidays, or where are you all at with it?
So last year we did it. Let's see. How did that work, babes? I was on it. 2019, we kicked off the year with, it was the Renew You health and fitness thing. We were trying to get all tip top, and we did an intensive 7-day push and came out with a whole tracking chart and all kinds of stuff, and ran it for the month of January. Yeah. And then we, how did this work? Then
I discovered Whole30 just trying to, I just was feeling so crappy. Like my body was just I just felt so tired and sluggish all the time and kind of brain fog. And I was doing some research and they were saying how a lot of that can be due to your diet and to, inflammation in your body due to what you're eating. And so I'm like, well, I'll give it a try. Cause I was never the kind of person that was like, oh, I'm going to go gluten-free because I didn't, I don't have a dietary need to be gluten-free, but I thought, well, heck, I'll give it a try and see how it goes. And oh my God, I could not believe how much better I felt in that 30 days. And so I really, for a lot of 2020, I kind of followed that way of eating, not like religiously. And, after the 30 days, I did, let myself have some treats here and there, but I just found I just felt so good. Yeah. I didn't want to go back to that. But, over the holidays here, it kind of, got a little out of control. So
Same here.
And really the big push was we want to be in real good shape because we're going on our 25th anniversary trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, so that was a year ago, and thank God we got to go before COVID hit.
So we want to be in good shape for that, and we had a really good time, and then COVID hit, and it's like, getting back on track.
Yeah, so we really just found it was, whether it's Whole30 or it's paleo or keto, just a little something to jumpstart getting us back to just a cleaner diet.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm totally with you. And I always felt like, well, not always, but recently I felt like, I'm eating healthy and we're making bread and at least we're making it at home and we're not buying it with preservatives and who knows what, like we're all good. But then AJ, probably from a podcast, heard about keto and bulletproof keto specifically, and also like the carnivore diet. So he was kind of doing his own thing with eating like a ton of meat. We went in with his parents on half a cow from a local farm. And so he was going hard on that and I barely had any, but he lost like 20 pounds. And I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, you look really skinny. And not that you were, fat before, but man, you can tell you've lost weight. He's like, yeah, I feel so good. He had so much energy. He was like running circles around me. And I was just like, again, I thought I was eating pretty healthy, but one night he asked, would you ever want to try keto with me or carnivore? And I'm like, well, not carnivore, but like maybe keto. But I kind of felt like, well, what's the point? Like, I don't need to, I feel fine. But then as soon as I like really got into it, I was like, now I feel really good. Like out of this world energy. And like you were saying, and it was, now I feel like so guilty when I don't do it because I know how good I feel when I'm on it. But that addiction, once you get going back with the sugar and the carbs, it's like, I know I'm not hungry. I know that's not going to make me feel good, but why am I like physically drawn to go eat it? It's like a monster is
habit. Yeah. Totally habit. Yeah, absolutely.
The chips,
bad.
They call to me, Jules. The chips.
Chips. I know. And even when it's not convenient, even when my house is like totally rid of all of that, it's like, get in your car. Taco Bell's only a few minutes away. I'm like, no, I'm not going out there. It's like not even warm. It's inconvenient to go, but you're so addicted that you like sometimes just get in the car and go.
Yeah, and then traveling and stuff, you can get sloppy real fast. So it just helps to bring food. When I travel, because I travel all around Wisconsin, including here in Green Bay, but it just helps bring food instead of eating out, going to the Quick Trip and getting fried chicken or something like that. It's not good. Quick Trip has everything, right? So everything, and it's amazing. Like we can just talk about the food, and then it's like almost as good as eating it, right? We can pretend like we're eating it, and we're just getting that stuff. There is a big boost, though. What is it about day 12? The energy boost.
Once you get past that first week after getting all that crap out of your system, it's like, oh wow, I didn't realize I was feeling so bad. Right.
I think she just deleted a voicemail when I was in Green Bay. I was in the parking lot of Lambeau Field and it was like, because I hit that point. It was just like unstoppable energy. It was crazy. Yes, it's amazing. And then you
with the free time that you have, I just feel like I'm so much more present, like with my son. And, I mean, you guys know your parents too, that after a long day of working, and even if I'm just at home, it's like I'm mentally drained. And if you're eating bad on top of it, it's like I felt like I wasn't giving my best self to him and really like playing with him and having the energy. And I'm like, I'm just tired. When are you going to go to sleep? And I'm like, I don't want to think that way. I don't want to feel that way. I need to like enjoy every single day, even if we have nothing planned, because life is awesome, and you just feel you can really enjoy it when you're eating right, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
I hear ya.
It's very true.
So what other things do you do? I know you've talked about like positivity and mindset. Like what kind of things do you guys do to bring that into your lifestyle?
Yeah, one thing that we did pretty religiously for a while, and then it kind of fell off. So, like everything, but that I really enjoy doing is once Jack goes down for the night, we like to sit on the couch and just have a couple minutes, and we don't really put a time frame on it, whether it's like has to be 5 minutes or 10 or 30 or whatever, but we try and just have like undivided time when our phones are away and just like talking to each other, even if it's really about nothing. I just really feel like that helps keep us connected and like really excited about what's next, whatever it may be, because again, you guys probably know it can be a little bit like of a downer sometimes when the homestead, buying the land seems so far away, and like what's the point of even getting excited? And I mean, look, we haven't recorded a podcast in a while, and now that we're here, I'm like super excited to do it again. But that's another thing that keeps us connected, like whether it's the nightly talks or just getting on the mic. And like I said, even if we don't post it and it sucks, it's just a time for us to reconnect and like refocus on our goals and just get excited. So that's where he shares about what he's learned in his books, and then I get excited about the book, and then I start reading, and even if it's a few pages, like how probably when you're going to bed and I'm like, I want to read, but I'm just so tired. Even 2 pages gets me excited and motivated if it's a book that's really good. So those are a couple things we try to do. But how about you guys?
Then the singing starts and all that good stuff, right?
Yes.
I love your singing. I think that's great.
I know.
That's so cool.
I've done that a little bit too. I mean, we have a 45-minute drive out to the land. So usually what happens is we start a podcast and we get like 2 minutes into it and somebody says something and it's like off the races. We're talking all the way there. And another thing I would say is going for walks.
Yeah.
And we talk and stuff there. And my knees are kind of crappy, but I wobble. It's a great way to connect. Yeah, wobble. And it's a great way to connect and talk. And that's usually what we do. And you have your quiet time in the morning.
Yeah, I just try to, like you guys, I'm trying to have a meditation practice that, it's a lot harder to do than it should be.
Yes.
It really is. So I'm trying to do that in the morning, and then just I try to do a little bit of journaling and gratitude, just starting the day off with gratitude versus just jumping out of bed and running right into the races and getting ready for work. Just taking a little bit of time to put my head in the right place.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Writing is huge. I like to write as well. And we're just trying to put gratitude on the front end of all of our podcasts now, because it's good to remember who's made an impact and who's, just good people in life, and
absolutely
call them out, and then maybe they'll listen to the show. But yeah.
I totally agree.
And
I just
one thing that you were, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no, you go.
One thing you were saying earlier about, that you guys sit and talk and connect and that it can be kind of hard to stay motivated, when you know that there's going to be a while before you're ready to be able to take that leap to the next step. I was listening to, do you ever listen to Jill Winger, the Prairie Homestead?
No, I don't.
Podcast? Oh, you'll have to look for her. She's really good. She's out in
Wyoming.
I think she's in Wyoming.
Cool.
But she was talking about the messy middle, where you have the beginning and everything is new and it's exciting and fresh, and you can't wait to jump up and it's just so easy to talk about and write about. And then there's the end, whatever that may be. But then there's all that time in the middle that she was calling the messy middle. And that's where the magic happens. It's those little moments of being present, and if you're not present, you're gonna miss them altogether.
Yes.
So that was kind of I love the way she put that as the messy middle.
Mm-hmm.
I love that too. And that goes exactly with the book I'm reading right now. That again, is probably going to take me a year with reading like 2 pages per night. But The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
so good. I love the way he writes too, because I don't know, I think it could be a little bit much sometimes, but he breaks it down with like the common questions he gets about being present and living in the now. And I just feel so inspired after I read it. And like you said, there's all these days that are going to happen no matter how you feel about it, no matter what you're doing, no matter what your mindset is. It's like you have to enjoy the present moment. Like, yeah, there are things you need to do to plan for the future, but that can't take up like your whole headspace, or else you've lost the day and you didn't really even enjoy it. You just thought about what ifs and I need to do this, and like, oh, life will be better when this happens. And
Yep.
yeah, the messy middle is very important.
Yeah. And I think that goes along with the disconnecting a little bit from the social media too, because that just keeps us constantly in the immediate gratification mode. And
Yes.
and it does kind of start to feel like nothing's ever good enough.
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely.
I too have tried to disconnect as much as possible from social media, because it number one, I just I feel like my pace of the day needs to be fast forward as fast as that scrolling goes.
Yes.
And then number two, it's just I just don't need to just sit there and look at things that might make me discontent with my life.
Absolutely. And you get inspired sometimes, but it's a snowball with the rabbit hole you can go down with the scrolling. And I think about myself saying, oh, well, I don't have time to read at night. It's like, well, you did have time, but you also scrolled for like 45 minutes. So
Yeah,
you could have
exactly.
probably read a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
we had taken a class last year. Was that last year, KBB?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it was about content creation and developing master classes and all this stuff. And by the end of it, you're like, holy crud, these guys, they really push, just always being developing. And you're like on a hamster wheel, and there's just no way. It's not sustainable. That is not sustainable. It's, again, you're creating this product to be consumed at a high rate. And it almost felt like we were getting into always create mode and never just kind of just work on this thing for a bit and make it
Right.
make it good, make a good product. Instead it's like, I always have to have another product coming out fast,
and then you're not really living your simpler
what's
small scale life, right?
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Setting things.
I know it's such a hard balance to find, because you guys have met so many cool people in the community, and I have too, but I just didn't want our account to become like this overly curated, like all the pictures have to go together, and then the caption. And I remember trying to write out a sauerkraut recipe in my caption, and I didn't really know how to make it like AJ did. So I was asking him, and I'm like, does this make sense? And then he was typing it for me. I'm like, we wasted an hour to do this stupid caption. Like, that was not worth our time. I don't want to have to think so hard about it. I want it to be kind of like a fun journey for us to look back on, sharing cool things, cool ideas, but I'm not going to spend an hour trying to think of a stupid caption. Like, that is just a waste of me.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
So if you're outside barefoot in the snow, can you think faster as you move faster? That is the question, Wim Hof.
Oh my God. I'm even lucky I got a picture the other day. I'm like, my feet are going to fall off. And then my camera's blurry. I'm like, I don't care. And my son was like looking out the window, not out with me. Snow was too deep. Yeah, that's AJ again. That's something that he started learning about and was like, let's do grounding together. So we started before it started snowing, just to get acclimated, and it was really fun. I honestly felt like if our neighbors would have seen, they would have called the police. They're like, what are my neighbors doing with their infant son? And again, it wasn't snowing, but it was cold. But it was fun, just invigorating, running outside in your bare feet. It hurts now. It really hurt the other day. I was almost cursing. It hurt so bad. And I was out for a millisecond. But yeah, I just think it's a great way to start the day. I don't like to do it at night because it kind of scares me. By nighttime, I'm like, I want to be warm. the world can just be out there. But in the morning, it's just such a great way to wake up, like just a second outside in your bare feet. If you have longer, if you're able to stomach it, I mean, say a little prayer, do whatever, just say a couple words in your head and then come back in. And I'm like, I'm ready. I'm like awake now.
You can do that, babe?
That. Well, from the third floor, it's going to be a little tough. But not sure about the snow. I might have to think about that a little bit, but I'm totally down for the walking barefoot in the grass.
Yeah,
I
totally.
mean, that it is amazing how it does really make you feel connected.
Yeah.
In a way that you don't when you're just cruising around with your shoes on.
Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. He's going to jump in the water and it's all cold and I'm just going to get invigorated. Wow. So, I mean, Tony Robbins really pushed that whole idea. So
yeah,
it's something. But
and even when I go into the office physically and, I'm in my real world clothes and not just the casual work from home stuff. And I feel just like that mid-afternoon, even if I'm doing keto and feeling good and eating right, I'm like, I need to go outside. I have been indoors way too long. And even if it's cold, again, just that like fresh air, the breeze, whatever, just for a couple minutes or even seconds. And I'm just like, okay, I can do this. I feel like ready to take on the world again instead of just this too warm kind of, I don't know. I think about when you're driving and you're tired, like a cold blast of cold air, it wakes you up to keep going. And if you're too warm, I'm like going to pass out and go to sleep.
Yep, totally. And I think that's one thing we're really looking forward to about Eagles Ridge too, is there's so many birds there. We're going to be kind of like the crazy bird people. And, just getting connected with the land there and walking around the property and going into the garden or whatever we got going on. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yep.
Instead of the apartment.
And appreciating those things that like the eagles, like you said, I mean, to most people, I mean, eagles are cool, but it might just be like, it's a bird, whatever. But realizing just how incredible that is that you have eagles at your property and watching them and they're just like part of the circle of life. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty neat.
Yep. We came down the slope, the slope from hell, the first day, and we come down the slope and there across the river in an old dead tree are two eagles. It's like, this is the spot.
Wow.
We've got to have it.
Yep.
This is it.
Yep. That was it.
And that's how it happened. That's one of those wow moments.
For sure. That is so cool. That has to be rare. I mean, that doesn't happen everywhere, that eagles just hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't see them around at my house, so I think it's special. Wait, so did you name it that, Eagles? You said Eagles Landing?
Eagles Ridge.
Eagles Ridge. Is that your name for it?
That's our name for it. Yeah, we just kind of picked it out of the blue.
Well, it was, again, it was every time we go out there, we see eagles. I mean, I think maybe there's only been one time we've been out there that we haven't seen eagles. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us.
Yep. Last Saturday it was two eagles. So it was
one of those meant to be things that's just like, it has to be named this. That just makes sense.
Right on. So let's talk about your podcast for a minute and then we'll let you go. What are your thoughts? Where are you taking this thing? What do you want to do? What do you want to do with it when it grows up? Is it going to be a big league podcast or what?
Oh my God. We're going to have so many ads. They're going to be everywhere.
Gold plated. It's going to have gold gilded seats. It's going to be great.
Oh my God. You're good at that. That's hilarious.
See what I get to live with?
Oh my God.
Every minute.
Well, when you first messaged me and then, I had to check out your podcast too, because I didn't even know you had one when I had started following you, but then I listened to a little bit of it and I was like, whoa, I'm impressed. Like the production and the intro, and we literally just like turn on the mic or like and like don't edit anything out unless there's like a really awkward pause or something. So I don't know. I mean, I've always wanted to record an intro. That's on our list, but again, with the nap time and would probably have Jack screaming right now. But like we have a didgeridoo and I want to like incorporate that somehow. And like we have like a Tibetan singing bowl, and like let's just use some of those sounds and make it really like.
You guys have a Tibetan singing bowl?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's part of the drum wash. No, that's part of the drum wash.
No, but the drum wash, she has one for each chakra.
Yeah.
And it's the most, I had no idea how that resonates with, like, I had no idea what to expect the first time we went. And that those bowls, like, speak to me. Like I had no idea. Like I can feel it in the different parts of my body. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah. So again, one of AJ's purchases because we needed it and we use it. I mean, Jack really likes it, and it is a cool thing when we try to do different meditating. I don't know if I'd call it a ceremony, but meditate in our living room with a little cushion and stuff, pull it out and do that and just sit with our eyes closed. They're very cool. I like them too.
Nice.
Good job, AJ.
Yeah. Good job, AJ. We love it. So so you're going to put this, I mean, you're going to be doing this for a while. That's
I hope so. Cause it gives me it gives both of us just so much energy and excitement and motivation after we record. It's such a fun way to connect. I'm sure you guys feel that way too. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like memoir of our journey so we can always look back, but then people, it's so cool. I'm sure you feel this way. Sorry, I keep saying that, but like I'm sure you feel this way as well when people reach out and they're like, that really resonated with me. Like that was so helpful or interesting, or I learned something new. And I just want to share what we learn as we learn it, and not to be like, well, we do keto perfectly and then you all could take a note from us, because we don't at all. God, I definitely don't. But yeah, just kind of sharing. And for anyone that is like, well, maybe I would want to try something, like hearing somebody unfiltered, like talking about it for real as they go through it. Just keep recording whatever happens in life. Get the mic out.
Do you see a website or a blog site or anything like that coming, or are you just going to keep it on iTunes and?
Probably just this for now. I know we have a blog floating somewhere. I honestly don't even remember the website. We started that first, but I'm like, this sort of feels like work to me right now, but the podcast is so easy and flowing. So we'll see if that becomes more like fun later on as we grow and get more stuff to talk about. But yeah, I think for now the podcast and the gram is going to be where we're at.
Yeah, nice.
I love it.
You can do a lot on the gram, that's for sure. Absolutely. Very cool. So do you have any last words? I mean, we'll let you go so you can get on with your night and read the 2 more pages and all that.
2 pages. I can't wait. No, now
maybe
I'm all like
tonight.
Yeah, maybe 3.
I have energy after talking to you guys, so I think it's definitely going to be 3 or 4 pages.
All right.
People think vibrations. They all start to get together. It's kind of crazy.
Absolutely. I am so happy to meet both of you. I'm sorry AJ wasn't here, but tending to the child, and he's a little bit more quiet than I am. So I'll get him on one of these days though.
Absolutely. So any last words, anything? Where can we find you?
Yes, just the Wisconsin Homestead. That's Instagram and podcasts. I don't even know all the platforms we're on podcasting, honestly. With our stats that we get, there's all these random places, but Apple and probably other places too. That's where to find us, and shoot us a message if you want to talk about anything homesteading related. I've met obviously Tom and Julie here, and it's been cool to make connections. So
yeah, I really recommend it, and we'll be happy to have you back on anytime. I mean, you're a fun person to talk to, and we enjoyed it, every minute of it.
Absolutely.
Yay. So are you guys too. I cannot wait to hear more about your journey as you guys move. And I want to be you in the future. So I can't wait to watch your journey unfold and take some tips.
Well, we might not do everything right, but at least you'll learn what not to do, maybe.
So. Absolutely. That's a valuable lesson.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. Well, thanks, Hannah. It was so great meeting you.
Yeah.
So great to talk to you guys too.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Please hit subscribe and hit the little like button.